So, welcome everybody to another edition of Balm to the Soul. I'm your host, Natasha Joy Price, and I'm a energy healer, an author, and a podcaster. And today we have a new guest, Dr. Gene Antonucci. So, welcome to the podcast. Thank you so much for
Oh,
supporting us.
it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
Now, you are a health and wellness educator, a speaker, an author, a full time LSU School of Dentistry faculty member and clinician with over 40 years' experience. Is that
That's me.
correct?
Yes. I wear
Good.
several hats.
Yes, that's I think a lot of us do really. Um, and your focus is on overall health, but how that affects the way that we age, isn't it?
Yes, yes. My view is everything we are is connected. We can't really silo it or
Yeah.
dissect it into different places.
So it's really about looking at the whole holistic whole, basically, isn't it? As to,
Yes, it is.
yeah,
Unfortunately, today we're pushed in the direction of separating things as if they are
mm,
of utmost importance in and of
mm,
themselves. But to me, that's doesn't make any sense, first of all. But it's a fallacy. It's not
yeah,
a correct way to approach life.
no, no. There's a lot of factors that are going to come into play, aren't there?
Yes, and
Yeah,
and one is each are equally important, but they don't exist in and of themselves. You
no,
know, and that's how when I start to look at things that way, and when I view the world that way, I can dissect it down, and I can understand many things more clearly from that perspective.
yes, yeah. So do you think that's why modern health advice confuses us? Because they do focus that we get so much advice, don't we? But it tends to be in whatever area that person is.
And that is the problem. You have a stomach ache. You go to the physician or the specialist. They send you to a specialist to see what it is with your stomach without understanding that that malady, whatever it is that you're dealing with, is tied to every other aspect of your body. It's tied to inflammatory processes that could start in your mouth. You know, it could
Mm,
start in with a problem on your foot. There's many different areas, but all of it can't be looked at separately. And when
no.
we do ourselves a disservice because we aren't really looking at true healing. We're looking at taking a medication or some sort of a direction towards fixing something, but
Yeah,
not looking at the whole.
yeah. I actually always, I'm an energy healer, um, and I always think that gets missed off the list. But I'm constantly trying to explain to people that actually that's part of the holistic whole, and it needs to be included. You know,
Well, it's a vital part of the conversation because
mm,
we can dissect energy. We can look at energy, but there's so many components to energy. On the physical realm, which is tied
yeah,
to our nutrition. It's tied to biology and physiology and all the systems we have. But it's also on a spiritual and an emotional and a
mm,
mental sense.
mm,
And then there's an aspect of energy I don't pretend to understand that's beyond
mm,
me and you and us
mm,
and world that
absolutely.
we're connected to. So there's so many aspects of energy, and to say it's just one thing and to focus on one thing is the same as going to a physician and being focusing on one aspect of health.
Yeah. So, I saw that you said health is built quietly day by day. I really like that.
Well,
It's a gradual, it's changing habits, isn't it? It's a gradual sort of step by step.
yes, and it's counter to the viewpoint that health is can be hacked or can be fixed by following one mentor or one guru or taking one supplement or following one program for exercise. Health is how we live.
Mm,
It's what we do on a daily basis, which is integral to the energy that we feel, the energy that we sense, the energy that we give off. It's integral to how each of our cells respond. So when I look at and I view overall health, many of my lessons were learned from my connection to Italy. I'm a second generation Italian. My dad was born in Italy. My dad was a physician. We lived in kind of a limbo in the United States. I was brought up American, born in America, but I had this cultural aspect of my father never really fitting into the American scene.
Mm.
He was always somewhere, he was from somewhere else.
Yeah.
And so the Italian culture is a part of me. And we travel there often, and as I understood it, I see Italians don't try to understand. Italians don't go to the gym, first of all. I mean, it's a membership is so low, but they exercise and they move more than anything. So you can sit in a piazza in Italy and you can watch men in their 90s on a bicycle, and you could see women in their 80s walking to the grocery store carrying bags, and people climbing hills and stairs, and that's living. It's not
Yeah.
it's not me looking in a book and saying, "Oh, well, what do I need to do today? My watch says I need 50 more steps." That's not how it's what we
No.
do on a daily basis.
Yeah.
And you break it down, nutrition, you look at movement, you look at the spiritual side of a person's purpose and a person's meaning, which has to do with our own energy and our own health, because it's all very closely tied. You look at the relationships that we have. You look at how we fit with other people, how we converse with other people, how we have conflict and how we have love, and everything is all comes together. And neither one are an independent silo of health. All are essential, and all affect the other. So
Yeah.
you have no relationships in this world, and you are lonely. You're alone, and you're just you and your mind and your books and whatever. That's great, but there's something missing, because uh, research science tells us that we need that connection, because that
Yeah.
affects the hormones and the chemistry and our system, and it affects our longevity. The
Mm.
studies tell that. If you have no
Mm.
purpose in life, if you retire at 65, which is the goal of so many people around me, they live to retire, and then they sit around and they wither, because you
And they
need a
don't know what
purpose.
to do.
You need
Yeah.
purpose. You
Yeah.
need purpose. You need a reason to live and to be, because not only for your mental state, but your body needs it, because that's how we are. That's genetically, that's
Mm.
what we are. Our ancestors from hundreds and hundreds of thousands of years ago that created the DNA that reside in you and me, that's what it requires. And if we
Mm.
don't give it that fuel, there's something that's off in the system.
Yeah.
So
And I think I don't know if this still happens in Italy, but um, it doesn't happen so much in England where we have the generations living together. And I just think that's so important. Are in England, a lot of older people go into homes. And
yes.
I think that, instead of being with their family, I think it makes such a big
And
difference.
as the world has become westernized, or however you want to look at it, that has been the direction, and for many reasons. Some because of economics, because
Mm.
uh,
Distance as well. People tend
distance.
to
People
move away,
move.
don't they?
Yeah,
Yeah.
people used to
Yeah.
live within a community, and that's where they were born. They lived. They got married. They had children. They got older, and they passed. That
Yeah.
was life. That's no longer the case. Teenagers can't wait to get out of the small town to get to the big town, the big city, or to leave the big city and go to the small town. But wherever it is, there's somewhere better than where they are, so they're
Yes.
distant from their family.
Yeah.
So when you're not in that, and it depends on where you are in Italy, or I'm sure in England too. There have to be communities, but I know there are villages and communities all throughout Italy where the old model still exists.
Yeah.
But I have a mother-in-law who's in a home, right. She was just put in a home. She's 90 years old. She has dementia, and it became
Mm.
too much for the four sisters, for the three
Mm.
sisters and one brother, and the rest of the family to manage and care for.
Yeah.
Uh, and
So they
there's
have their
still,
place. They have
yeah,
their place,
yes,
definitely, don't they?
yes,
My mother's got dementia as well, so
yes.
she's not in a home yet, but we do have a lot of carers come in because it's a
It's
lot. It's a
it's
lot.
difficult. It's
Mm,
difficult, and
mm.
there's so much emotional that goes on,
Yeah,
and the difficult uh,
yeah,
time.
yeah,
But
it is.
the studies with that also show that there's longer age. People have higher rates of longevity when they are cared for by their families
Mm,
because there's a sense of connection and purpose and all of these things that our
yeah,
bodies grew with that are not foreign, and
yeah,
it's those they're difficult questions, and there's very not clear thinking, definitely not in the medical industry, because they just look at if you have an elderly person with dementia, it's a problem that you fix with drugs, and you
mm,
have care partners that do this and that and the other thing, and if they get pneumonia, then you give them the drugs to get rid of pneumonia. As long as they're breathing and living, they're fine. But we
mm.
know that that's not true.
No.
There's a lot more to life than that.
Yes, absolutely. And I do think I've recently retired um, from the law after
Oh, okay.
29 years,
Oh.
last month actually. And there is with a view to looking to doing something else. I'm not, I'm
Hmm.
not retiring for good. But there's a real process of decompression because I think we live our lives at such a speed that
Hmm.
I think a lot of people get burnt out. And what the image that I get when I've been talking to you is that much more contentment with life. Doing what you have to do, but not, I don't know, there seems less pressure, less stress, less.
Well, and if you think that through, the stress is such it's a drain on energy. It's a drain
Oh,
on
it's
physical
awful.
health, it's mental
Mm,
health, uh, and the stress of life that we put ourselves in, we are a part of it because we live in
mm,
the world. And
mm,
if you have a legal case and there's a deadline coming up and you have to do the work and you're on you're stressed, and that's the way that
yeah,
it is.
yeah.
If I have a dental big case that I'm dealing with, I'm doing surgery or something, I'm stressed. Uh, and if you live your life day after day after day, every minute of your life from that type of stress, and then you go to family stress, and you have children that are driving you crazy, and the teenage daughter is doing this, and the son is doing that, and the husband's saying this, and there's more stress,
Yeah,
and financial pressures, and all of these things of modern life are not conducive to being calm and relaxed and having
no.
time to yourself. And that's a lesson that I learned in Italy. There's a saying, I don't know if you ever heard it, but there's La Dolce Vita, which I'm sure you've heard, the sweet life. But
Mm,
there's a saying that Italians live by called La Dolce Far Niente, which means the sweet joy of doing absolutely nothing. And you
yes.
can be sitting on a rock in a field and just looking nowhere, and the world is going crazy around you, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't. This is my time. And Italians, I think, have perfected that, and many cultures have. They have their own
Mm,
version of it. But I know in America, it is in New York City, and even here in the
yeah.
South where I've come to live, it's not a part of it's not a part
No.
of life,
No, I don't
unfortunately.
think it is over here as much, but I think it's really important that we find time to have for ourselves. We have to find space. It's a
Yes.
bit like that saying, on the planes, put your own oxygen mask on first. So, women, mothers, they need to give themselves space before doing everything that they do,
Well, you're of
basically.
no use. You're of no use to others if you are spent, if you have nothing left to give. You're of no use
No.
to others. If you're not taking care of yourself, your children will suffer, your family will suffer, and you're already suffering.
Yeah.
So again, that to me is all connected. It's tied, but we it's a strange look when I look at it. I know that I put a lot of weight on how we genetically or our ancestors created who and what we are. We can't get away from that. That we are genetically programmed. We can change, and we do change, and we have the ability. The epigenetics is the science of understanding how our genes can adapt to things. But basically, we are have certain needs, and that's the way that it is. Nutritionally,
mm,
emotionally, spiritually, they are all ingrained within us. And when we veer from that, we have issues. And part of our genetic makeup is to be a part of a whole. Modern society is that we are the center of the universe, and the whole is dependent on what we want to do.
mm,
And those two have to find a way of coming together, but they clash because if
yeah,
you view your life as I'm putting on my mask and forget about everybody else, doesn't matter. That's not helpful either. But the perspective that I need to be whole in order to be a part of the bigger whole
mm.
and contribute to that, that I can connect that.
So really, what you're saying is we also need to have community ties, don't we?
We
We need to be part of a community. We need
Yeah,
to know our neighbours even and chat to people in the village or whatever. We need
yeah.
that as part
Yes,
and parcel of
it's
our
a part.
health.
It's a part. Humans, and you look at other mammals. They grow up in clans or families, and that over and over and over and over again over centuries is our makeup. We
Mm,
are dependent on others, and we are also responsible to others. That's who and what we are. Modern society kind of takes away the spiritual aspect of that. I think
mm,
religion, spirituality, religion, that's a whole other discussion, but religions tend to engender or foster that in their own way. But spirituality should do that, but it can also take us
mm.
in a sense that we are over and above anything. We are gods unto ourselves. And
Yes,
there's
yes.
a, it becomes, I think that's a path
Dangerous.
that's followed that becomes very difficult to maintain
Yeah,
over time.
yeah. And really, we should be doing this, prevention. We should be doing this well in advance of when we think we need to do it, don't we?
Yes.
It
Unfortunately,
has
we
to
wake up
become
one day and we
habit.
say, oh, I slept and I got injured in my sleep. That didn't used to happen. So I got to do so. I have
Yeah,
to start exercising. So you
yeah,
out of nowhere. So it's if you move all the time at whatever level that you can, your body will be able to do what it's supposed to do because it
yeah,
lived on movement. But it evolved with movement. But yes, we kind of the horse leaves the barn, and then we shore up the we shore up the fences, and it's not the right,
yeah.
it's a good start, but it's
Mm.
better to have started before.
Yeah. And we need to find sort of, I don't know, like a sense of peace, don't we? A contentment. We we have to have that as well, I
It,
think, in
it's
our
it's
lives.
essential.
Yeah.
It's essential because again, there's the chemistry. It I look at the human being, the human body. It's an exquisite creation, evolution, however you want to look at it. It's just amazing. The
Mm.
hormone changes that occur just from if you smile, simple smile. These
Mm.
muscles that create a smile create hormones that create positive energy in your body. Whereas if you're frown and you're angry, that in
Mm.
itself, just that action started the process of creating hormones that follow that. And there's an evolutionary reason for that. But
Mm.
every part of our body is tied in the same way, where things that we do, interactions that we have, or lack of interactions that we have, affect the hormonal releases. And you speak of energy all the time. That's you
Yeah.
look at the world of energy, but it's not such a what is energy? It's a
Mm.
very it's a human energy. What is it? It's comprised of so many things. And
Yeah.
as we spoke of earlier, we understand, and some we think we understand, and some they're
Mm.
mysteries that I don't think we'll ever comprehend.
No. So we have to have a really well-rounded, we have to have movement, we have to have that sense of contentment, we have to have a purpose. We need to look at all of that really, don't we?
We
For
do, and I did a lot. I spent a lot of time researching and studying what are called the blue zones. I'm sure you've heard of
yes,
the term.
yes.
And there are areas in the world that were designated. There were five designated areas in the world where people were seen to live over 100 more than anywhere
Mm,
else. So they said,
mm,
why? What's with Sardinia in Italy, or what's with Costa Rica, or what's with Loma Linda in California, the strangest place that I could think of for people to be living over 100. But what's unique about these communities, and there are similarities that all of these have, it's nutrition, because the body needs the information that the proper food gives. And our food today is not it's altered definitely from what our genes recognize. So our
mm,
genes are scrambling. What does that information say? Okay, maybe it says this, but there are oils that we eat, ingest, and there are manufactured products and pesticides and all this stuff that assault our body, and our body's trying to make sense of it. And sooner or later, something goes haywire here or there, and you get sicknesses and cancers and all the
mm,
other maladies that
mm,
we have. So nutrition is one, and the nutrition is whole foods and all the stuff that your mama taught you and your doctor told you, but eat whole foods, limit the sweets, limit the processed carbohydrates, limit the processed foods, lots of vegetables. Meat is okay, but a little bit. If you don't want meat, don't have it. Fish is really good because of the oils. So that's the diet that these people have in common. They move. They move more than they don't move.
mm.
Our ancestors were migrating from this country to this place to that place to the other place. They're running away from bears and lions and tigers, and they're running after people to plunder their villages. And there was movement, but
Yeah.
movement was a natural part. They're lifting things. Mothers are lifting babies. Women and men are creating things, and we don't. If we lose that, our muscles wither because their muscles need movement. Our
Mm,
bones don't reform and rejuvenate because they need stress on them. The hormone change, so that's all that. Then there's
mm,
purpose is another thing that they have. They have a
mm.
reason for living. They have
Yeah.
surrounded by a community, and there's a spiritual sense to realize that I'm a part of more than me. There's a greater
Yeah.
world. And those are the commonalities. And then they break down into many different areas, but those are really the core of what I view as essential for the potential for living a longer life with health and
Mm.
vitality. Because we
Yes,
can live
because
that's the
that's
key.
really important, isn't it? We don't want to live longer and be sick or,
No,
unwell.
no.
We want to enhance those years, don't we?
And modern medicine can keep us alive even when we're unconscious. We can
Yeah.
live,
Yeah.
and that's not a goal of mine. And
No.
and that's a difficult aspect of working hard to live longer, is that you say, well, we still have an expiration date. We're
Mm.
not going to live forever. And I don't want to live longer if I'm not vital.
Yeah. If you don't have that quality of life, you've
No,
got to have
no.
that quality of life, don't
So
you? Yeah. Interesting. Excellent. So you've got three books out, haven't you? So The Forever Human, The Italian
longevity
Longevity
secret.
Longevity Secret, and Living Longer, Living Better.
Yep.
So do we have more books on the horizon
Well,
or
yes, I do. I have a book that I am in the process of writing. I'm maybe three-quarters through it. It's called The Quiet Art of Longevity, and it's really my evolution. My first book I wrote, it's almost 7 years ago, and it's been evolved and changed, but that's the Living Longer, Living Better book. That
right?
is, those three books are going to be published, should be published by the middle of this month by a publisher in New York City. Those three books, one looks at the science of longevity, one looks at the Italian, why is it working? What's working in Italy? And I dissect it. And the
Yeah.
third book is what we need to do in terms of lifestyle for each of us and breaking down those areas that are there. So these three
Mm,
books kind of work together for a blueprint of health. But the quiet art of longevity is really looking at bigger questions of how basically of our conversation today of what we're looking at, looking
mm,
at the areas that make us and what it is that we really need to do to be vital as we age, not just to age,
yeah.
not just to be have a goal of living to be 100 and taking peptides and all sorts of medications and
Mm,
it's it's really looking at the foundations of health and wellness and letting our bodies do what they are programmed to do, which is to live. Every cell in our body wants to live, and that's
yeah.
all it knows to do. And we get in the way all the time.
Yes. Yes. And what about all these new supplements that, all advertised about that will help us age slower? And
Well,
do you think that's part of the picture, or do you think that's not
I think it
necessary?
it is. I look at them, I look at all of that realm as hacks because what we as humans look to do is find the easy way out and not do all the foundational things. So if the
Mm,
foundations are in place, then the supplements can make sense if you need
mm,
them.
mm,
Whether they are, there's all sorts of peptide therapies on the horizon. There's all sorts of things where
mm,
where science, physicians, the medical industry, and industry itself are looking at products and modalities to help us live longer lives. But without the foundation, they're not. They're just pieces of a puzzle that don't really
yeah.
fit together.
So you
And what
need the
we
basics,
you need the
basically, don't
basics.
you? Yeah.
And the basics
Yeah.
are, we don't want to hear it, but get your nutrition together.
Yes.
Stop. I live in New Orleans. In I When I fly, I recently flew out on a plane and I was in the waiting area to get on to board, and there were 12 wheelchairs of obese men and women from 50 years to 75 years old,
Mm,
waiting to be boarded
mm.
before everybody else got on. And I'm looking, I'm saying, what happened? You shouldn't be there. There's no,
No,
God bless you that you're alive and that you're flying and everything, but there's something wrong when that's our society. That's really where we're going. So get the nutrition in order.
mm, mm,
Don't you want a shot to do it? Great. But you can't rely on an injection of medication that will quell your appetite and you're going to live. That's not a change.
no, no,
And it's not sustainable.
no,
Um, don't think that if I buy a gym membership or buy I look at something on a video and I do my exercises for a week, I'm in good shape. It's movement all the time. Move more than you don't move. And the
yeah,
same thing. People say to me, you talk about family and the importance of family and connection. What if I'm alone and I don't have? Well, family doesn't have to be the traditional sense of family, mother, father,
no,
daughter, son. It could be the community that you surround yourself with. And there's no stopping anyone from creating a community of close like-minded people who raise you
no,
on a daily basis and support you,
yeah,
and you do the same. So all of these things are foundations. And then with the foundations in place, then considering supplements I think, are valid and
yeah,
help. And they have
yeah,
the potential to significantly increase our lifespan, I believe, especially as these technologies and modalities come
yeah,
mature.
yeah. Excellent. Thank you for that. So something that I ask all my guests, what is one thing that you do spiritually every day or every week that really just helps you stay centered and balanced?
Well, every day I walk. Well, we have three dogs. I have an Italian Spinoni, which is a medium-sized dog, goofy dog, and two wire-haired dachshunds. So every day at 7 o'clock in the morning, I'm out the door with all three, and I take a long walk. And part of my walk is in nice areas. So that's just opens my mind.
Movement. Yeah.
I'm moving and I'm breathing and my blood's circulating. I'm with these dogs that I love, and I'm able to think clearly. There's no commotion or anything. So that's the
Yes.
first thing I do. And then the second thing, my route to work, I live only 5 to 10 minutes from the dental school where I teach and where I work. But I choose a path by car. I drive by car, but we have a beautiful park called City Park nearby, and I go through the park and being in touch with nature. And I mean,
Mm,
the trees are gorgeous, and the flower beds just are fading from this time of year from a few weeks ago. But there's something about nature that stimulates me. So
absolutely.
those are
Mm.
the two things that I do every day. Um, that
Mhm.
without fail.
Yeah. Nice. I've got sausage dogs as well.
Oh, do you?
3 of them,
They're
funnily
yappy.
enough.
I'm
Yes,
surprised I
yeah.
don't hear them right now because they're not
Badly
being.
behaved they are. But
They're
we
well. When they don't get attention, they get very upset. So they're either pounding at the
but we
door or somewhere. But
that's another good thing in life, pets, isn't it?
yes,
We love our pets. I love my
and
pets.
there's a lot of science on that too, and
Yeah.
what they bring
Yeah,
to us and what we bring to them.
absolutely. Well, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure to talk to you. I've
Pleasure to
really
me also.
enjoyed listening to your ideas about health and living better, not living longer, or both.
Living longer, living better.
Yes, absolutely. So thank you for coming on to the
My pleasure.
podcast.
My pleasure speaking to you.
So if you've enjoyed listening to us chat, then please like and share. And you can also subscribe to the podcast for extra episodes. And I will speak to you all soon.